And I think one trend we're going to start doing now is doing movie reviews. And I guess like the first movie review we're going to do now is Soul.
Mm.
So Pixar, Disney, whatever, Pixar, whatever, Soul. And my fault because like when we did our end of a year show, and I said Tenet might have been the best movie. Soul was the best movie of 2020, and I dare
Mm.
somebody to argue with me. This shit was the best movie of 2020. From the colors they was using, the vibe,
Oh
the
yeah.
message, the way they explain uh, life after death, and
Mm-hmm.
moving to the great beyond, and just like a lot of the key words they use. And I'm sure there's probably like a cult symbolism in that shit too, but just I don't know, just the overall project of shit, and it had the jazz and the sounds, and it just felt like real
Right.
authentic. It felt it had like that movie magic quality to me, and I think that was the best movie of 2020. But anybody got something to say about Soul?
How the fuck is that supposed to be a kids
Just like
movie?
Right. You right because
I don't
I
know.
was lost in that shit. Even though I watched it with
Yeah.
Caden, and he like really understood the shit from his perspective. But yeah, I it was definitely a grown up ass movie. Yeah, something that you can ponder
Yeah.
upon.
Yeah, that one was deep.
Yeah.
And you're right. Some of that shit is deep. Like um, some of that shit was like a complex though. Like
Like can't get out of your
for
way and
instance, the
shit.
black. Yeah, and even the black man having to he was forced to educate a blob of nothing pretty much.
But there
And
was like pieces of light, and that's what I got out of it. It
yeah,
wasn't like
yeah.
nothing.
And I took it as light body because they were traveling
Hmm.
between Earth and like that frequency of the great beyond, quote unquote, or whatever they called. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, I feel like that was like light body, but then just instilling lessons and morals and shit like that of the
Hmm.
soul was different. And I feel like, and I really feel like this too, like even the perspective, because it was a white chick that was playing the unconscious soul that was trying to find herself, like coming from a black man.
22.
Uh, I felt like it was a lot of deep, like for real. He enriched her on how to um travel and find her journey and find her element in the earth for real. So I felt like
Hmm.
that shit was important. It's a lot of levels on there. It's a lot of levels with that. Like it's some complex. Like the only part I like didn't like was
Hmm.
um like he woke up in the hospital bed and he was talking like the white woman. That was the only thing I was kind of like, as a black man, I don't know if I like that shit. I know it's a movie and all that shit, but it just kind of like gave me a little like I don't know about that. I don't know if that was like a hit below the belt or not. Like, but I dissect shit so hard. I don't know. I had to
Yeah.
read between the lines for that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good movie though. Like like I said, it has like levels of like consciousness and like I feel like even when they say great beyond, like heavenly features, kind of like that
Yeah.
frequency beyond, like we don't even understand yet. Like it was deep. I like that movie though. If I was on shroomies, oh man,
Oh
that
hell
shit
yeah.
probably would have me blasting off. Because those colors and shit, like when he was on the tie dye ship and shit with
Hmm.
the dude,
That
he was
sp- that,
probably all
that
boomer.
that
The
trippy
sign
ass dude
holder,
that was, yeah,
yeah,
and he was fucking it up
easily on. He was
when he was
easy.
dancing. He was fucking it up.
Man, he's microdosing all through the movie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, that movie was grown. That movie was grown as fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it was
the
good. I
one part
liked it,
that,
man.
that like really stood out to me, and I mean, I watched the movie, but I was kind of like in and out, you know what I'm saying, the whole time. So I didn't really watch it like all the way,
Oh man,
like
you
I
gotta
didn't
watch it
soak it
again.
all the way in. Yeah, I gotta watch it
Yeah,
again.
watch it a couple
But I
times.
remember one scene that what was I saying? There was a scene when when he first died, and everybody was on that elevator going into like the big light.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
the
saying?
great beyond.
So
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, the great beyond, but the great beyond is what's that? That's source energy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like saying that we are all like one with the source energy. So it's like kind of like when you die, you have the choice to your spirit is like You like remember when the people was on the escalator going up and they all
Yeah,
their
and they were like
body,
ready.
their energy was kind of like they were ready. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like kind of like,
Yeah,
ooh,
yeah.
this is good. Like they wasn't in
Mhm.
fear. They were kind of like happy
Yeah.
to go. You know what I'm saying?
It was
And he
euphoric for
didn't
them.
want to. He was fighting back. So that's what kind of like brought him back to the earth. And I read somewhere that says like the so-called ghosts are the spirits who are still attached to the physical life, and that's the reason why they don't
Yeah.
go to the
Good
great
point.
beyond, or they don't become one with the source energy again, because they still have attachments in the physical. So when I seen that,
Right,
I was like, oh, these niggas know some shit. Like they really, you know what I'm saying?
right,
Like you can
right.
confirm this in all kinds of books of wisdom and knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the main concepts of almost every damn text you can find. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that
You're
they would
right,
even
though.
put that in the movie, it just says a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
Yeah,
oh, I know what that is. That's supposed to be source energy right there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
exactly.
so that's
And,
crazy.
and and it was like his mission wasn't complete anyway. So he was always going to give like that static towards going to the great beyond. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't feel complete. He had just for real like had his come up with getting to the concert and his audition and all that. But like even that quote, like just like I was saying, like how energy travels in the universe, make sure shit happens. He was like, "Oh, today's the greatest day of my life. I could die today and be happy." Like the universe, make sure that shit happens. Like this nigga died. That's what I mean. Like you gotta be careful with your words and like your messages and what you put into the universe too, because that shit happens so fast. His
Yeah.
karma was so fast. Yeah, and then like he learned a lesson within that. So I thought it was a good movie though. If you really
I
break
got
that shit down,
again though, and like really like
yeah,
focus. But yeah.
Yeah. Even like how like when he was, we passed and he was in that other world and had like some of the like the guides in that other world, you peep how they was like 2-dimensional. They wasn't
Mhm.
3-dimensional.
Yeah, I peeped that.
Yeah.
I peeped that
Yeah.
shit. Yep, exactly.
Even the nigga that was
That's
counting
where
the
you,
numbers and
that's where you
shit.
are before you come into this 3D life. That's the 2 dimension. You know what I'm saying? So it was
Mhm.
like explaining how they were like kind of flat. They weren't like
Right.
fully like you can't walk in circles around them. You know what I'm saying? They were like flat. But yeah, that's exactly what. But that's how the 2 dimension
That's
is
a good point.
explained. The 2 dimension is kind of like a dot is like the first dimension. The second dimension is like
A line.
a flat line. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's the best way to describe it, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
It does.
But yeah, that shit. And then even like they was talking like lost souls and like even when it was like floating to like the great beyond, and then it just did like zap. That shit made me that should be bust out
Yeah.
loud.
Like
But that was real because they was becoming one with the source again. So it just
Yeah.
makes all this sense.
Right.
That book, I said that book. But that damn,
even
the reason I'm saying that book because I read that shit in books before, so it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that movie has
Even-
so much. Movie, yeah, I can already see.
has so many like just like even how you choose, you kind of like they say that like before you even born, you choose your parents, you kind of choose your path.
Yep.
Like you remember like
Your
when that
parents.
portal
Yeah.
when they
Yep.
jump and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like all that. I was like, yo, this movie's fucking me up. Yeah,
And then
like
they said,
it has so many.
and then he said,
fucking
then he said,
dynamics, yo.
they said jump into the Earth portal. So like, where's there to say that there's not other,
Right.
planetary portals you can jump into?
Dimensions and shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a good fucking.
There are the other
Yeah, that's
planes
a
of
good question,
existence.
bro.
I mean, that movie was
Just like
basically
you said,
explaining, the other planes of existence and what goes on there, and like how that relates to physical life. You know what I'm saying?
Did
But
y'all
like that
watch
scene
this?
you was
I feel
talking
like
about,
we-
It sounds like I enjoyed that movie.
I feel like
You said
I
what?
feel like we
Yeah.
over talking this shit.
Yeah, I ain't seen
Nah,
it.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah,
I told you.
I
It
think it's the
gave
best
me.
movie
It gave
of
me
2020.
everything.
Nah, I
But
haven't
that's
It
seen
gave me
movie
everything.
fine,
It gave me. Yeah.
I'll
It gave
check
me
it out though. It sounds like
complexes.
it's good.
Yeah, it was the
No,
last
it's
shit.
real good.
Even
It's
like
adult.
like how they was talking about like the spark and shit. And then remember like that Tupac interview when he's talking about like the light and the spark, and it's like
Mhm.
it's all about what you do with that spark or what you do with that light. Like that shit meant a lot to me. It's a lot of
Right.
shit, man. Like I could probably watch the movie, 3,
Hey,
4, 5.
hold on,
I think we
hold on,
should.
hold on.
Well, I need to watch it
Last
one
scene I'm
time.
gonna talk about. Last scene. Look, remember the scene when there was the little guide was telling him, "Oh, this is what happens to the spirits that like become lost and lose their way and like
Yeah.
forget who they are and it was like these like dust covered, like they was like covered in stone, and they was all
They were
clumsy,
ghouls
bumping
and
into
shit.
So
Right.
it was like kind of explaining
Yeah.
like this is what the state of your spirit is in the non-physical when you're like forget who you are, like you're like a drone in the spirit
Right.
world. You're not even like, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that shit
That
was
was a
like
good
it was
point, too.
it was basically saying, oh, that's the type of nigga who's, you know, lives the type of life they don't really want to live. Like I think in the movie they say, oh, that's the type of guy who sits in a cubicle all day, does the same shit he don't like to do every
Right,
fucking day.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, that's what they look
Right.
like in the spirit
He,
world. I was like,
he turned
damn.
up his he
know,
turned that job up too. He's like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
And then when
I
they
remember that
said
shit.
fuck the job, but look, and then when they said fuck the job in the spirit world, they became their spirits again. Like that's what's so crazy about that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Black
another thing, like when you in your zone, like you playing like the greatest basketball game, or you writing the best piece of music, or you know what I mean, you just like, you know, when when you tap into a certain frequency, and everybody been in the zone with like some form of another, and you know what I mean, that brings you closer to that realm, and that shit like spoke to me. Yeah, that shit spoke to me. And they also
touch on that tenant though.
and they threw a shot at the Knicks in that jump too. Was funny as shit. He said, "Oh, I've been messing with this team forever." Yeah.
Oh, they had a couple though. They had a couple. Like even when they were like, "Nah, humans let you down" or something. They said it was one little point. I was like, "What?" But it was real because she was talking from like her soul, like not even being on Earth. It's crazy. That movie's deep, yo. That movie's actually deep.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that.
Shit was good.
What's up with this? Oh yeah.
But what's up with that tenant joint though?
I ain't ready to break down Tenet because
I need somebody to break that. I don't watch it twice.
We need Paul. We need Paul for Tenet.
I need
real
Paul.
talk.
I don't see no symbolism or nothing in there.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
What? Oh my god!
That's
the time travel shit.
Yeah, I got
That's
it. Like
you gotta watch that joint again. Then
I done seen it. The first time I seen that joint, I knew that when they went into the joint or whatever to go steal the shit or whatever. I knew that they was probably fighting himself or whatever. That's why why the white cuz did whatever he did. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, where's the rest of the action and shit was like that though. I felt it was just a good action movie.
When the movie got real for me, like real, when I was like fucked up, the car scene, the first one.
We
not the second. Not
we
the
gotta
second
save
one.
this. We gotta save this.
Yeah, we'll save it. We'll save it, but watch it twice. We'll just watch it twice in like. No. Watch that shit. Let it dissect for a day. Come back to it. Watch it one more time. I'm telling you, that shit will look like so crazy to you. Because you're gonna start thinking about like the different paradoxes, like different ways of like, futuristic shit. I'm telling you.